snow trucks with spreaders, and of those, 55 have plows. We'll be running around the clock until we get it handled and get the roads cleared. We've got probably about 8,500 tons of salt on hand. We'll start probably 12 hours before it comes in. We'll start by putting brine solution down on the roadway. What that does is it creates a barrier on the road that helps from the snow or the ice sticking to the roadway, so it's easier to get off later on. Once we get started, we'll run 12 on, 12 off. Our shifts run midnight to noon and then noon to midnight. And we'll just continue around the clock until we get it addressed. It'll take about 210 employees to run around the clock with all our mechanics, our management, clerical, and the employees that are out in the trucks.
Emily, what about you? What's just the 10,000-foot elevator pitch plan for the homeless population?
Yeah, we'll be opening emergency space both at Creoaks, which is on the winter shelter on East Admiral Place. That will open to about 250 individuals beginning on Friday, and the plan right now is through Sunday night, weather all based on temperatures and precipitation, if that time frame's extended, as well as opening Dream Center West Friday afternoon. That will be able to hold about 150 or so. And those will be the emergency capacity locations, both accepting animals. Other shelters, Day Center, Salvation Army, John 3:16 will be operating 24/7 with expanded capacity. Anyone that needs a safe, warm place during this time will have access to one.
Tell us about the outreach team.
Yeah, have outreach teams out on Friday. They'll begin assisting folks into shelter, be working in partnership with Tulsa Transit to provide shuttle service directly to shelter locations. There'll be outreach will be out 24 hours a day through the night, assisting folks getting them in. We're also working in hand with first responders, so if they encounter someone, an outreach can go and assist and not use up that resource of a first responder. We'll be working hand in hand with them.
What are their hours look like?
24/7.
Why is it so important that this happens? Because what happens if someone doesn't get help and they stay outside?
Yeah. So typically we'll have kind of that first cold air precipitation. A lot of people seek shelter, and some are want to try to hold out. That first night is then that next morning is when we'll see the next rush, typically, of people coming in. Obviously, we want to save lives, and frostbite comes on much quicker than what you realize. Most people that are unsheltered don't have adequate clothing, shoes, warm weather supplies for these sort of elements, and so having access to service providers, outreach team members that can quickly get them into shelter is extremely important during this time.
What would you say to those people that are maybe hesitant to going to a shelter this weekend?
It's life-saving choice. We want to save your life.
Emily, how are you all working with maybe some homeless residents who in the past might have been hesitant to work with shelters in the past, and obviously this cold weather, is necessary for them. You all are adding extra resources for them to have that. How are you all working with these people during this specific upcoming week?
So our outreach workers are critical. They have relationships built up with our unsheltered population, and through those relationships, there's trust in bringing folks in. What we saw last year was we were able to shelter around 1,500 individuals and families during the cold time. And so people, when access resources are provided, people typically take them.
Do you have an estimated number of people who may be housing this time?
No, anyone that needs it. And so what we do have right now is the ability that maybe someone does have shelter, but maybe they don't have heat, or maybe they lose electricity, the ability to take some of those folks as well.
How are you guys coordinating with Tulsa Police, Fire, and Emergency Management officials to make sure you guys are all working together?
So with Away Home for Tulsa and the Continuum of Care, we have regular coordination meetings. Actually, I've been in 2 today with our first responders, that included county, that included our Way Home for Tulsa partners, and that coordination occurs throughout these sorts of meetings, as well as this is not the first time that we've been through this, and so we've got systems and operating plans in place, and when streets get really bad, the weather really prevents outreach workers from driving, then typically we'll work hand in hand with fire to assist in transporting people, because at the end of the day, we're not going to leave someone on the street who is in need of shelter.
And how are you guys working with them as well from the emergency management side of it?
They have our contacts, so if they have any issues, like once in a while they've had like a truck slide off the road, or if they're trying to get, maybe they have an medical emergency and can't get to the person, they'll contact us where we can plow the roadway or salt the roadway so they can get traction to get there.
Tim, what are the roads going to look like? You know, like, is there kind of like a goal, like a benchmark to keep these at as far as conditions, and what's the priority?
Well, the way this storm looks, it's going to be heavy snow, so I mean we'll be plowing quite a bit to start with. So what we normally do in that situation, especially if we get wind, we try to maintain at least one lane open on the arterial roadways going in each direction until the snow subsides, and then we'll do some multi-truck plowing and then get it all cleared off the roadway.
Tim, as far as prioritizing roads, where do you guys begin?
We send the trucks out on all the arterial routes. We have 35 routes, and there's trucks that go out in all directions throughout the city and begin in different areas.
Sorry, Tim, I'm not immediate, but will you kind of clarify a little bit for folks who, the last go around, maybe it was in November or early December, when we had a little bit of sleet, there was some confusion as to who treats what. I know the highways are owed out. Will you just kind of
Right.
reiterate some of that?
We treat the arterial roadways through the city, which is like 21st, 31st, Mingo, Memorial, Sheridan. ODOT maintains the highways that are going through the city, and so like 75, 169, those highways and the on and off ramps, that's all the responsibility of ODOT, where we mainly concentrate on the arterial streets throughout the city, and that's our priority, is to get them cleared up where they're passable.
How many miles of roadway do you guys plow?
Lane miles on the arterials is a little over 1,700 lane miles.
Obviously you guys are gonna do your best to keep the roads safe and clear the snow and everything, but do you have anything you want to say to residents who maybe don't have to leave their home? Do you recommend they stay home if they can?
Well, that is a big thing, because a lot of times residents will get out and we get a heavy snow, and then they're getting stuck, and the roadways become gridlock, and so we're unable to do our job efficiently. But another thing that's a priority we try to mention every time is for people to turn their sprinkler systems off. A lot of them are left on manual, and then it just creates icing out on the roadway, which becomes a hazard to both the citizens and to our trucks. So, but if you don't have to be out, and which this storm looks like it's going to be pretty severe, I wouldn't go out. Just give the employees the room to work on the roadway.
And for those that are on the road and they see one of these trucks out there, any driving tips?
Well, they need to understand that they're operating in an emergency situation as an emergency vehicle. If they should happen to pass a snowplow and something would happen where that they're plowing and it moves that truck over into them, they can be ticketed for passing an emergency vehicle. It would be their fault for whatever happens to the vehicle. So just stay back about 200 feet behind the trucks and then let them do their job.
Anything you want to tell citizens of Tulsa about the hard work that you guys do to keep them safe?
Well, it takes months of preparing to get ready for this. We start running our trucks through the mechanic shops in September, and I mean, salt is not kind to vehicles. You have a lot of electrical issues all the time, constantly through this. So the employees have been working on the trucks this week too, make sure everything's loaded and everything's prepared to go, and just kind of keep them in mind as we go through this, because they'll be working 12-hour shifts, and that doesn't include going back and forth from home to work, and then with their families will be there without them also. So
Anything else at all either of you wanted to add?
I'll just add that If anyone encounters an individual that is in need of shelter, in need of assistance, I believe in the press release, and it'll be on the city's website, there is a outreach form. That is the fastest, quickest way to click on, fill out, and provide the information, location, and outreach team workers will be able to respond immediately to that location. Also, shelters are in need of a few supplies, bottled water, warm clothing, hygiene products, and dog food, and those can be dropped off at Iron Gate.
Thanks, both.
We also have people going out there just tomorrow.
Appreciate it, you guys.
You bet. We'll get that.